down the left field line. It is gone!
Live from the downtown Carmi studio, it's the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Live on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY, and online worldwide at WRUL.com. Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY, AM 1460, the final Saturday Morning Sports Show of the 2022-2023 sports season. The sports show is brought to you by Rice Motor Company, Cherry Street Automotive, Citizens National Bank, Nancy J. Winter CPA, First Mid-Bank and Trust, Hale Body Shop, Rorrock Transport, Farrell Hospital, Little Giant Grocery Outlet, Jordan Funeral Group, Wabash Christian Therapy, Bush & Associates CPAs, Taylor Eye Care, People's National Bank, Hamilton Memorial Hospital, Rush Appliance, Wabash General Hospital, Boomtown Solar Energy, First Bank, and Carmi Lumber. Cole Carter alongside Travis Black, Haley Winkleman back at the across the hall, I should say, getting us on the air this morning. And this is the final show of the season as basketball season for the Carmi County Bulldogs has officially come to an end. And Travis, I wouldn't say just kind of a sad way for the season to come to an end. Losing to a very good Vienna team back on Wednesday. I think it's a combination of having to play a really good team, but then getting stuck in a really good subsectional. You know, Carmi was when you won 25 games and you're a 6 seed, it's going to be tough for you to move on, and that was just kind of the case for Carmi this year.
Yeah, normally you see two 25-plus win teams facing off in a regional championship game. You might not even face one till the sectionals, depending on how things break up. But Carmi happened to face one in the semifinal of a regional, and Vienna's a great basketball team. Carmi came out just a little flat early on, and we kind of expected that. I mean, they've had trouble just getting off to those quick starts. They always come out a little slow, and against a good Vienna team, you really can't have that. But it was a great season overall, and I mean they should be proud of what they accomplished.
The Bulldogs finished this season 26-6 on the season. That ties them for the second most wins in school history with that 1987 team that won 26 games. That team in '99 won 28 games, but along with the second most wins in school history, they also won the most home games in a single season in school history. They went unbeaten at home for the first time since '87. They won the conference for the first time since 2016 and won the CIT for the first time since 2019. But Travis, I know that they don't really have you've got the CIT trophy and the conference trophy. It's going to be awesome to look back at it in a couple of years. And I know Kevin Wolf and the boys really wanted a regional championship trophy to put there in the hallway, but there's no question this season and this team has a lot to look back on and a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, they accomplished so much. I mean, early on in the year, they almost won the Ducorn tournament, giving a scare to a very good 3A Heron team that has been dominant all season long. They also had a good run the CIT, winning it for the first time, since 99?
Yep.
First time since 99. Winning 25-plus games, that's very rare and few and far between. And, I mean, they're going to go down in history as, tied for the second-best record in Carmi County school history, so they have a lot to be proud of, and a lot to look forward to coming into next year because a lot of younger guys got some good experience. I mean, we're going to have 3 starters returning, and normally on a team that's has 25, 26 wins, normally you don't see a lot of starters returning from those type of teams. Normally they're senior-led teams, and this, I mean, not to say we didn't have 2 great seniors. 3 great seniors, but 2 great on-the-court leaders, and normally you see 4, 5, 6. I mean, if you look at who won that regional, Carterville, they have a ton of seniors. They started, I think all 5 were seniors, and normally on a team that you see with that many wins, 99 team, take for example, they won 28 games, and they were 4 seniors starting. So normally you don't get to retain as much as Carmi's going to get to, and it's going to be really special to see how this team gets better and learns from this experience from this year and takes it into next year.
We mentioned the 3 seniors, Tanner Spence, Tyler Gomad, and Bryce Connor, and I know Tanner, it's his first year playing basketball, and we'll hear Kevin Wolf talk about those 3 guys here in a minute, but Tanner decided to come out this season for the first time in his career, and obviously didn't get the minutes he probably wanted to, but every time we talked to him, Travis, he was always he was having fun regardless, and he was a good sport about it, and I can only imagine, being in his shoes, just kind of wanting to watch the guys you went to school with be so successful and just to be a part of the fun. And Kevin Wolf said that at times, Tanner was the one that went the hardest in practice. Tanner's a great athlete, great cross-country and track runner, and I think it was a great addition to have him in practice on days when you're not playing to get the guys ready. But just to have his spirit and his energy on the bench and practicing the games, I think, helped Carmike tremendously. And then you talk about Tyler Gomat, who wasn't going to score 20 points a game, could get you 20 points every once in a while, but he was a guy that did a lot defensively, got rebounds, great passer, great rebounder again, and it just, you need guys like that on the team that, can score when he needs to, but just does a lot of good things that don't really show up on the scores on the score table. And then Bryce Connor, of course, who's just so much fun to watch. This being his first full season of basketball, given COVID and his injury, that kid's gonna have a good chance to play basketball at the next level. It's been so much fun to watch all three of those guys all season long. Travis.
Yeah, I mean, you're going down the list there. Tanner Spence. I mean, you got to have a guy like that. You got to have a guy who brings the energy to practice every day. And he really did that. He brought it to games. You could just see kind of how much fun they were having on the bench, and that's good for a senior who's not getting the minutes he would like. But it shows the underclassmen, hey, even if I'm not getting the minutes I like, I'm still in the trenches with my guys, really engaged with the game. And you talked about it, Tyler Gomat. His stats don't always show up in the box score, but if you watch the game, you might read the box score and say, well, he didn't do too much. But if you actually watch the game, you can see the impact he has defensively, offensively. At times, he'd bring the ball up against that press because he would normally have a bigger guy on him, and they just want him in the back. So he'd just take it up. Great passer. He could shoot the ball when he needed to. Didn't take a lot of shots, but I think he was one of the better shooters on the volume he got, because he would take very smart shots. He wasn't trying to force anything. He was letting the game come to him, and he was more focused on just the other end of the floor. So it was just, okay, you need me to score 12 here, I can get you 12. If you need me to go on a run here and score 6, 8 by myself here because I got the mismatch, I can do that for you. And then we talked about Bryce all year long. I mean, he was leading scorer. I'm pretty sure leading rebounder. I know he's the all-time dunks leader in Carmike school history.
He's got to be.
He has to be. I mean, I think he surpassed that in the first 5 games. But I mean, he's an exceptional athlete, good basketball player. He was just so dominant in the post. And early on in the year, he was kind of more on the perimeter, just kind of driving the basket. And he can do that if he need. But really where he made his bread and butter was just dominating in the post. And I mean, he's one of the stronger kids. I mean, he's not the heaviest kid, but he's one of the stronger kids, about 6'4" probably. I'm going to put him around 190, 195, and it's a lot of muscle, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, you just see people bouncing off him when he was going down there, and sometimes he'd go down there like a freight train and get in a little bit of foul trouble, but, overall, he was just that. He was the constant for Carmike. He was that constant person who was putting pressure on the defense. You knew we have to come in and stop him, but he would do it on the inside, and then he's willing to pass that basketball. So next thing you know, you start to collapse on him. The three-point shooters start just letting it rain, and that's why this team was so successful. Those seniors really knew their role, and then everyone else kind of fell into place. They set the tone. They were great senior leaders, and they really led this basketball team in all facets, whether it be just attitude, effort, mentality, and what we always talked about. What are the 2 things you control in the game of basketball? Your attitude and your effort.
And you mentioned Bryce Connor and his size. We looked at a picture last year of the team picture, and Bryce, he's a little skinny guy down there in the post. But obviously he goes through the injury, and I've heard him talk that as soon as he was allowed to get back in the weight room and keep doing things, he put on a lot of muscle, became a true post player down there, and there weren't a lot of guys that when he got the ball in the post, and usually if he wasn't quadruple teamed, he was scoring, and there's not many guys that in the area were able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got so much physically stronger than he was last year. I mean, last year he could score on the inside, but not like he could this year. I mean, he put so much muscle on, so much strength, and really understood when he needed to go inside and attack. It wasn't just every play, well, I got the ball, I'm just going in there. He saw, well, okay, they're looking over there, kind of moving the ball back and forth. Now I can cut inside. Or now I get the ball in the post, got a guy on my back, got a guy coming over the double team, drop off to Gomat for a layup or kick out for a 3. He really understood the game better this year than he did last year. And you could just see it, how well Carmike gelled together was how well he understood his role better. I need to be the constant pressure. I need to apply the force in the paint. And then when the double comes, I can swing it out there and hit a guy in stride for a wide open 3 or hit somebody cutting to the basket. So really this team's offensive scheme evolved with him.
And you look at what's coming back next year, Travis. Obviously, you lose 3 big seniors, but you also bring back 3 starters, and 2 of them, I thought Mitchell and Gavin and Driscoll earlier in the year, but especially late in the year, Gavin Holloman and Mitchell Edwards really took over some of the scoring when Bryce and Gomad and even Driscoll just really couldn't get their shots to go, where other teams were focusing on them. And I think we're going to have them for 2 more years, 2 more seasons coming up is going to be fun to watch. But just seeing how those 2 and even Driscoll, as the season went on, how they improved. And then you got guys like Trey Dixon, Mason Haywood, Branton Stockton, even maybe a younger guy, Merrick Milhorn, coming up that could be a big player next year and the year after. I mean, people think, a great season, 26 wins, and it's back to 500 ball. But I think if these guys put in the work, we have every chance and every capability to be a 26 win team again next year.
Yeah, they have the talent to replicate it. I mean, we talked about it again all year. Mitchell, how well he has improved from last year. I mean, he was a good shooter last year, but now he's worked on his body too, and he's working more, getting on the inside. And he's such a deadly shooter. People have to guard him just a step inside the volleyball spiking line, because if not, he's going to hit it. Gavin's a great shooter too, and he got better as the year went on, as understanding his role as well and attacking those closeouts. Earlier on in the year, he kind of was very passive. He'd catch. If he didn't shoot the 3, he'd just kind of sit there. Well, he started to learn to attack that baseline, attack those closeouts when they were coming out, because they knew in the scouting report the guy can shoot. So he was getting to the basket, getting layups, and then they really worked on their passing too. Because early on in the year, I felt like they were a little timid to make some of the passes they would be, some passes they wouldn't normally take early in the year. But then they started being confident, moving the basketball, being able to thread the needle with a bounce pass here or a skip pass there, and they got better. And Landon Driscoll, he made a better. His improvement wasn't so much offensively, because he still have his up and down games, but he's a good shooter, good driver of the basketball, willing passer. His strides came on the defensive end, because early on in the year they had nobody really who was going to guard the best player, who's going to guard the best perimeter player. Because Gomat's a great defender, but he's a better help defender on guys who are really quick perimeter drivers. Well, that became Landon after the EHT. Mm-hmm. After that's when they went on that 12-game win streak. They went on that really good stretch run there, and it was because of him. He stepped up at the challenge. He's 6'3", he's lanky, he's quick. He's quick enough to be able to guard those guys, and he's long enough to be able to bottle their shots, even if they get a step on him. And his effort on the defensive end and his maturation process of him getting better as a defender, understanding what he needed to do to stop some of the best around. I mean, Eric Rogers had 28 in the first game Carmi played him, and then in that final game, senior night, what did he have?
I think 12.
12,
yeah. And
he had 10 of that in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And you could see it, like how much better they got defensively throughout the year, and that is due to Landon and those other guys just locking in on defense.
Yeah, the Bulldogs have their season coming to an end back on Wednesday with a 70-47 loss against Vienna in the regional semifinal. Here is what Kevin Wolf had to say after that game on Wednesday.
Coach, you never want to see your season come to an end, especially one that's been fun and memorable like this, but you got to tip your cap off first to a really good Vienna team, but I thought you guys really fought all the way to the end.
We did. We just didn't come out very well. Hats off to Vienna. They just beat us in every facet. Put that on myself a little bit, but maybe we just weren't ready to go at the start. They really put it to us early. Tried fighting back, just didn't have enough in the tank.
Yeah, and you kind of knew, obviously, Charlie King, Owen Treat, they're great shooters, but it was kind of, I thought, Dayton Nichols just got behind the defense a couple of times when you guys tried to trap some things, really, and he had 20 points, and that essentially was the difference in the game.
Yeah, and that's what he's done all year. Whenever those guys get going downhill and people have to help, that's when he gets his buckets, and that's as simple as those guys dishing it in, him laying it in. Our whole philosophy defensively was to try to keep them in front of us, keep them out of the paint, make them make tough shots over us, but they're so talented. Their foot speed is so quick. I think we got a little shell-shocked early. Not sure why. We just didn't come out ready to play. And I, like I said, maybe that's on me. Maybe I didn't have them ready to go, but, now when would you be ready to go? I mean, this is a regional semifinal game, and we just did not come out with enough energy, with enough juice. We didn't do things right early on. We just did a lot of not-so-good things that favored Vienna for them to get that big lead. And then with a team like that, with all the talent they have, the shooting, the ability to get to the bucket, how they can guard, just made it tough on us. And we didn't play our best game by any stretch of the imagination, but Vienna probably was the cause of some of that. But just wasn't wasn't up to par for us. And hats off to our seniors. They were fighting till the end. Just didn't play well enough across the board, and it's sad because we've had such a good year. Vienna's a great team. Just hate, how it ended, honestly.
Well, and it really just shows the strength of the subsectional and the regional, because if you guys would have won tonight, you would have faced a really good Carterville team on Friday. And you guys won 26 games, but despite that, it just shows kind of the talent of Vienna and just kind of how talented things are here in Southern Illinois.
These subsectionals are an absolute bear, and there is no time to have a 2 or 3 minute lapse, and it's hard we talk all the time. It's 15 to 18-year-old kids. They can be as juiced up and ready to play as they can be, but then, a little 2-minute stretch where we're not completely locked in on what we're supposed to be doing, and they bang 2 threes and get a couple to the bucket a few times. It's a 10-0 run, and you're like, now we're down 10 in the regional semifinal game. You just can't have those lapses if you want to beat really quality teams. I'm not sure what we shot tonight, but we did not shoot the ball well. We were missing stuff early at the rim. Nerves, I don't know what that would attribute to. Just didn't play well enough, but tip your cap to Vienna. A 29-win team now, 29-3. They're very well coached. I thought their coaches kind of lets them play. They run and Treat and King run off a million screens, and if you overhelp, they're great passers to get their guys under the bucket. They shared the ball really well. So I was frustrated with our guys early. We wanted to be the team on offense to make 6, 7, 8 passes and grind it out and get something. That's what they were doing to us. We were the team that was passing one time and then trying to throw something up there. And we just kind of got out of our rhythm, kind of got out what we wanted to do. But tip your cap. Maybe Vienna did all that to us, and it's just a shame because I really thought we'd be in more of a competitive ballgame.
Well, that being over, the season comes to an end, and the careers come to an end of your 3 seniors. We'll start with Tanner. He comes out to play for his senior year, wanted to be a part of the fun, and it has been fun for him this year. He's obviously didn't get the minutes he probably wanted, but he was a good sport about it, got to play there on senior night. Just talk about him for
Without a doubt. Just an outstanding sport, as you would call it. Like we've said before, just came to practice every day, and on some days he was our hardest working kid. Every drill we would do, we talk about senior leadership and everything we do, you need to lead by example. Heck, there were drills that he was going literally harder than anybody on the team. Always had a smile on his face, always willing to guard and practice. On the bench there, just firing up the guys. Just an outstanding human being, honestly, with great character, and I was really happy for him to be a part of this year.
And Tyler Gomat, not going to be a guy that lights up the scoring column, but he does a lot of things outside of that. We've talked about it all year long, the taking the charges, the getting rebounds and playing defense, and it's hard to replace a guy like that.
Without a doubt. He does. We had our all-conference meeting today, and I'm not sure how the teams did, so we're not supposed to release that till every team's done playing. But, he got so many compliments today on all the little things that he does. He does so many of them for us. The help defense, probably the best help defender that I've coached in my 8 years and was with Eric for 4 years, and just one of the best helpers that we've had and helping other guys. Tonight they made us pay a little bit for it because we went and helped, and they're such a good passing team. But no, just does all the little things so well. 20-some-odd charges. That's the most we've ever had in here in a long time. Loves the game of basketball. Great kid. Always stays after and shoots. Just a great kid and a great player, and has really earned the accolades that he's gotten.
And the last senior, Bryce Connor, I know it means a lot to you. And this kid, given what he's dealt with last season, it's his first full season of high school basketball, and there's no question that kid made the most of it.
Without a doubt. Whenever he went down last year, it really affected our team a bunch, and he's an outstanding player. He's been DuQuoin Tournament MVP, EHT All-Tourney Team, CIT MVP. He's had a fantastic year, and you're going to see get some more awards as we're able to announce them. But he's a horse, man. He's a horse around the bucket. He's done so well for us all year. Him and Tyler, being the starter, have led us on this 26-win journey that we've been on, and it's been a wild ride. We've had some big-time wins. We've had a lot of fun this year. Me as a coach, I just feel bad that maybe I didn't have these guys prepared enough tonight, but and that's, I'm putting that on me. But going back to Bryce, just without a doubt, he made such a difference for our team this year, and just fun to be around. He's another guy that likes to play ball. I love guys that just want to hoop, want to play ball, want to compete, and play in the off season. It's just not we're playing during basketball season. Plays year round. Even though he's playing some other things, he played tennis in the spring. You just like guys who like to play and like to play multiple sports and just enjoy competing, enjoy being with the guys, and just enjoy playing high school basketball. And Tanner, what he did this year shows that he really likes doing that, and especially Gomat and Bryce for what all they've done in Carmi Sports. Just great guys to coach and to have in our high school, represent our high school.
Despite losing those three, though, you guys are bringing back a lot next year. Of course, Gavin and Mitchell being two sophomores that started, and, of course, Landon and guys like Trey and Mason off the bench. I mean, you guys, a lot to look forward to next year as well.
The two sophomores in Landon who started for us this year, I kind of told them in there, use this as fuel to the fire. We can't – next year it's that important when we get in these games to understand how every possession is so critical, and we can't have wasted possessions and what that means and how we got to bring our defense from the beginning of games. And then what about next year? We got two spots to fill, and we've got 7, 8 guys that could possibly fill them. I mean, so that we should have some great competition this summer and into early practice before we play. Some years, like this year, played 5 guys for the most. Sitting over there, I mean, Trey did a good job in his role coming in this year, but next year, who knows? So I'm really excited for the summer of who shows up in the open gyms, who puts the extra time in, who works on their game, just doesn't come in, jack up shots, who works to get a little bit better. And that's what I told them. We could go from a 26-win team, and if guys just go through the motions in the offseason, we don't try to get better, it could be back to 14, 13, 15 wins, because we will have some talent. But if some other guys come along, we can get maybe playing 7, 8 guys next year and be able to put a little more pressure on the ball and run a little bit more. It could be another year where we win quite a few games. But that's up to the kids and up to me and Coach Stubblefield and Coach Stenderback, coaching them hard this summer, putting them in the right positions, getting them to buy into what we want to do. But you hate to see a season end, but just my nature, I'm already thinking about what we're going to do that first day of open gym, because I'm just excited about what we have coming back and the competition that we'll have this summer.
26 wins. You guys won the conference, won the CIT. How do we remember this season?
Man, this is a great season. Like I said, right now I'm still sitting up here upset that I didn't have these guys ready to play, but awesome year.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Coach. Congrats on a great season.
That was Kevin Wolf back on Wednesday after Carmi fell to Vienna 70-47 to have their fantastic season come to an end. And Travis, you could hear Kevin get a little choked up there at the end, and I can only imagine. We talked to him all season long, and I think this team really meant a lot to him. And I know he was down himself. I don't think he should have been. You just ran to a buzzsaw of a team, and again, you just hate to see the season come to an end like that.
Yeah, it's always tough to lose a regional game like that, and in that fashion, you probably expect it to be a way better game, and just the kids came out a little flat early on in the game, and then they made a run there. They were within 8 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and just Vienna's just so good that once they put their two big guns back in, King and Treat, and then they just extended that lead right back out, and it quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that Vienna team is really good. I mean, they took a tough loss to Carterville last night, but we'll get to that in a moment. But that's just a tough team to play against, because they run 6'1" to 6'5" in their starting lineup, and they're all great, all shooters, all guards, really athletic, and it's just a tough way to lose it when you thought it should have been a closer game than what it was, a 23 to 24 point game, and it just all came down to who got off to the hot start and who could just keep the ball rolling, and Carmi just didn't really come out. It seemed like they were just sleepwalking a little bit, and they're a little shell-shocked, I think, honestly. I mean, they got pressed from the moment go, and I think they were ready for it, but I don't think they were expecting, right off the tip, Bryce wins the tip.
Yeah.
Bryce wins the tip.
And it somehow leads to a basket.
And it ends up for a basket for Vienna. Come down, we miss a bunny right there, and we had trouble with making our bunnies, but then they go back the other end and hit a three.
That
and
just defines the game right there in one little sequence.
Yeah, it was 30. It was less than 30 seconds, and they were already up 5-0. I think that's what kind of shell shocked them early on in the game, and I don't think they ever recovered from that.
And again, the Bulldogs in their season 26-6, second most wins, tied for the second most wins in school history, and a fantastic season. Congratulations to Kevin Wolf, Bryce Connor, Tyler Gomat, Tanner Spence, and the rest of the Bulldogs on a fantastic season. When we come back, we'll take a look at all the regional championship scores from last night in the area, right here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. Sports Show here on 97.3 WRUL, 93.3 WROY AM 1460. Cole Carter and Travis Black with you as this is the final show of the 22-23 sports season. As basketball came to an end earlier this week, baseball and softball will begin here. Practice starts on Monday, actually, for both baseball and softball. I believe tennis starts Monday as well. Track will get started here in a couple of weeks. But we will be broadcasting baseball and softball on the radio this year. As far as the YouTube channel, I would say it's probably unlikely, but we might give it a shot. Internet there at Eckerly probably is going to be fantastic, but we'll give it a shot at some point. But our first baseball broadcast of the year will be on March 13th when the Bulldogs take on West Frankfort, and then that Wednesday the 15th, the Lady Bulldogs will take on Mount Carmel. So we will release a baseball softball schedule here sometime in the next week or so to get fans caught up on what's going on this spring here in Carmi. And before you know it, Travis, May will be here and this school year will be over somehow. We're already almost to
another
March.
Year in the books.
Yeah, almost to March somehow, which just blows me away. And really, Travis, we talked about this driving home Wednesday after the game. It's a long season. Carmi played 32 games this year. I think on top of that, we broadcasted another 18 or 20 girls games. And though the weeks were long, the months, I guess, were short because it seems like yesterday we were in DuQuoin for the DuQuoin tip-off, and now the season's over.
Yeah, you blink and you miss it. It's a marathon, but it feels like a sprint when you look back at it, honestly. I mean, we were just not too long ago doing – I told you, was it yesterday? I said that girls' game at El Dorado, that really close one, Carmi happened to lose on just the last play. And I was thinking, man, that felt like about 2 weeks ago. And it's like, no, that was early January. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. Is that right, Travis?
Yeah.
Taking a look at some regional championship scores from last night, and Kevin Wolf made a point to me yesterday. 5 teams that Carmi beat this season were playing for a regional title, and 3 of them won them last night. But taking a look at around the area at the regional championships from last night, in the Goreville 1A regional, it was Meridian defeating Goreville 85-72. In the Crab Orchard 1A regional, the 6th seed, Gallatin County, wins the whole thing. They defeated Crab Orchard back on Wednesday. They defeat NCOE by 3 last night, 37-34. So congrats to the Hawks on winning the regional title last night. They're going to host the sectional next week there in, I believe that's, what is that? Junction is the official town that the school is in. But congratulations to Gallatin County. New Athens Regional, the 1A regional championship. Wayne City defeats Oakville 52-42. That is Wayne City's first regional championship since 1994. So congrats to Wayne City and the Indians there on the regional title. In the, let's scroll down a little bit here. In the Sparta 2A regional, it was Pinckneyville defeating Columbia 48-45. In the Nashville 2A regional, Breese Central, the number 2 team in the state of Illinois, gets past Breese Mater Dei 51-37. In the Harrisburg 2A regional, it was Carterville over Vienna 71-53. I was kind of surprised by that score. And on Section618.com, Lustenberger scored 22, Berkey scored 17. Carterville was a handful, but I really thought Vienna was going to pull off the upset there. Didn't watch any of the game, but just going into it with the way they played on Wednesday, I would have thought Vienna would have got the win last night.
If they kept the momentum rolling from Wednesday, you would have thought the way they played on Wednesday that they were just ready to run to a regional title. Looking
at the other scores from last night in the Benton 2A regional, Massac County wins their second straight regional crown as they take down Murfreesboro 55-40. Hospin scored 20 in that game. Teotopolis 2A regional, it was the host Wooden Shoes defeating Robinson 59-40. In Lawrenceville, it was the host Indians defeating Mount Carmel by a big score, 51-32. A little surprised by that final score as well. In the Mount Vernon 3A regional, Mount Vernon ends Heron's season defeating the Tigers 54-51. They're on regional championship. It was also Centralia defeating Carbondale 56-39 in the Mascoutah 3A regional. And that's about all of the relative regional scores from last night. But again, Travis, 5 teams that Carmi beat this year played for a title last night. 3 of them won those championship games. Gallatin County, Wayne City, and Lawrenceville, all teams that Carmi beat this year. But really, I'm impressed by Gallatin County. You mentioned that during the break at the EHT. They were a 15 seed playing the 2 seed in the El Dorado Holiday Tournament. They come all the way back and win a regional crown, and it's always cool seeing the underdog, the small schools, and they beat a really good Crab Orchard team earlier in the week. But that's a big win for them. They're going to be hosting a sectional next week, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, home court advantage in a sectional. That's what you kind of dream of right there, and that's a perfect scenario. And you never know what can happen once you get there.
So looking over at the the sectionals for next week. We'll start with 1A. Let me scroll down here on the IHSA website and take a look at how that's going to pan out next week. Pretty much all of the area 1A schools fall into the Gallatin County sectional. So we'll start in the semifinals that are on Tuesday. It will be Gallatin County against Weber Tuesday night at 7 o'clock at Gallatin County, and then Wayne City will take on Meridian 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So one game each night, Tuesday and Wednesday. The sectional championship will be Friday night in Gallatin County. Those will be two good games, especially in that Wayne City Meridian game. I think you saw Meridian play earlier in the year up in Pinckneyville. They got a really good ball player. Wayne City's got one as well, and Justin Durham. That might be an interesting game in Gallatin County on Wednesday. Yeah. Looking up at the 2A brackets now. In the Newton sectional, starting on Tuesday, will be Greenville and Lawrenceville at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, Teotopolis will take on Alton Marquette. Again, both those games being played in Newton. In the Pinckneyville sectional, which was the sectional that Carmi fell into, it will be Massac County playing Pinckneyville at 7 o'clock, and then Carterville against Breeze Central. So that's a good point. If Carmi would have won that Harrisburg Regional, they would have advanced and play the number 2 team in all of Illinois, or in Illinois 2A. Breeze Central, a really good ball club. That's who Carterville is going to face there in Pinckneyville on Wednesday.
That's a great prize for winning a regional, getting to play the number 2 team in the state.
Yeah. Looking now at 3A, I got to think what sectional that Heron and those guys fell under. I want to say, was it Centralia? Yeah, Centralia. Mount Vernon will take on Triad Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Centralia will take on East St. Louis Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And I hope I did not miss anything, but that is all the area sectional games going on next week. And, state starts the first weekend of March. Subsectionals or super sectionals is that first Tuesday of March. So just like that, basketball season is going to be over. Baseball really is going to get underway here really on Monday. And Travis, you're going to be a volunteer coach for the baseball team this spring. Guys had a good spring last year. Went all the way to the regional championship. Are you excited, Travis, to coach the Bulldogs this spring?
I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can repeat that success and keep going and go even further and win a regional championship.
Now, can you put on a headset in the dugout during the games and for the broadcast this year?
I will if we need to. We can I can do interviews with guys, what they were thinking when they did something really good.
Or something really bad also, right?
Well, we're going to look on the positive side, Cole. We're going to look on the positive side.
Yeah, they see like a lot of the MLB teams, they do mid-game interview with guys in the dugout and stuff. But again, good luck to you, Travis. Good luck to the Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs this year on the baseball and softball diamond as they begin practice on Monday. Boys tennis will also start practice on Monday, as well as track will start here in a couple of weeks to begin the final stretch of this 22-23 sports season that's been so much fun to follow here in Carmi. We will take our last break of the day. When we come back, we will run through our Terrible 10 recap, I guess you could say, here in the finale of the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. Welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.3 WRUL and 93.3 WROY AM 1460. The season, whatever you want to call it, I guess it'd be season finale because the series isn't over, I guess. So season finale here in 22-23 here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. It's been fun, and we appreciate everyone who has tuned in every Saturday morning here at 9 a.m. We'll wrap things up starting with our Terrible 10 Pick'em. Came to an end last week, and Travis, are you practicing your celebration, or do you have your victory music, confetti? Travis, overall,
it was never in doubt. So
I pretty much needed a miracle last week. I needed Travis to miss all of his, and I had to get all of mine. But Travis went 8-2. I went 7-3. So Travis finishes on top. 65-35 was his record. I was 54-46. So Chris beat me pretty bad in the fall, and you get me pretty good here in the winter. So I just hit my cap. I'm not good at picking games, which is why I can never win any money on sports bets or anything like that. So congratulations, Travis. The pat on the back.
Thank you.
That's what you get.
That's what I live for, is the pat on the back.
You've been waiting all week for this moment for me to tell you that you won the Terrible 10 Pick'ems.
Accepting defeat is the first step.
Denial is the first step, right?
No, well, yeah. Wait, is it? I don't know. We'll figure that out later.
Well, looking at the entire school season and the entire sports season for the Bulldogs and Lady Bulldogs this year. It's been a fantastic year. Of course, the football season was a lot of fun. The volleyball team also had a successful season, and that carried over right into basketball. We know the Lady Bulldogs on the basketball court had struggles at times, but they played better at the end of the year. Of course, the Bulldogs had a great season. The Bulldog wrestling team also had a great year with 3 wrestlers going to sectionals. And Travis, one thing that I think a lot of people in the town and in the community have said that, this sports season, fall to now, and even carrying over into baseball and softball this spring, but sports has really brought this community together. You go back a couple of years, and even with COVID and everything, COVID just made everything weird. Everybody felt like they were really distanced from each other. But you go to a football game, stands are packed full. You went to a basketball game, you had to get there an hour and a half earlier, else you were walking a mile to get inside.
Yeah, you're walking from Bradshaw Park to get in.
and I think it really shows that throughout this season, the success and just the fun that these teams have had has really brought this town and community together.
Yeah, sports is the great uniter. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, whatever, but sports brings people together, and we saw it by the amount of people showing up, showing love to these young athletes, and these guys and girls gave their best. They put in all the work, and it really showed on the court or on the field or whatever sport they were doing on the mat. But people came out and enjoyed watching them play sports, and it kind of it's one of those things where it's a distractor from whatever's going on. You can just, for 2 hours, forget about whatever's going on in your life, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, to enjoy and watch these athletes give their best, and it's just a great thing, and that's why sports is such a amazing thing to have in a small community like this, especially when most people almost know everybody. It's like, I've known this kid since they were this tall, and look at what they're doing, or this tall to this age, whatever. And they've well, look what they're doing now. They're doing big things in their preferred sport. And it's just amazing to see.
Along with the kids and the athletes having great seasons and getting all the recognition, but we can't say thank you enough to everyone who was told us, great job, and the compliments they've given us, whether it's on radio or YouTube this year. We know we've had a handful of technical issues throughout the year that has maybe affected some viewership in the way that some fans have watched the game. We do apologize, but for about 85 or 90% of the time, we've really had some great response, whether it was football or even into basketball season, with fans watching and listening to our broadcast, whether it was me and Travis or me and Chris. And we greatly appreciate that because, this is fun for us. This is just kind of what we do on our free time. We love Bulldog sports, and we were athletes growing up. We love the community. We love the maroon and white, and we just want to do what we can to make sure these athletes get the recognition they deserve, these coaches get the recognition they deserve throughout the season. If we miss some guys' names here and there, we apologize, but we do our best to make sure that everyone gets that recognition and people know their names and they know what's going on at the high school in the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Bulldogs, Lady Bulldogs, doesn't matter. I mean, we had that opportunity. There was people who did that for us, and we're just glad we can do it for the next generation of student athletes and give them the recognition that they deserve for all the hours they put in, the countless hours, maybe some sleepless nights, blood, sweat, and tears, just them preparing themselves to be the best they can be at their particular sport, and they deserve, what shine we can give them, and that's what we have tried to present this year, and I've been privileged and glad to be a part of the ride.
You've been all right, Travis.
Yeah, thank you. I try my best. I give my 2 cents. It might be $1 short, but
you've toned down your cheesy sayings as the year has gone on a little bit.
My cheesy sayings, really
cringy or cheesy.
Some people enjoy them. People like dad jokes.
I think Roger really
Roger loves
them.
my dad jokes, and that's why I appreciate Roger.
But speaking of Roger, just real quick, I just want to say a big thanks to Roger Hobbs for one. 2 weekends ago, when the Lady Bulldogs and the Bulldogs were playing on the same day, he stepped up and called a girls' game by himself. He was so terrified with the technology, but he was a great sport about it, and I appreciate him helping him. And I appreciate Roger for helping me throughout the past 4 or 5 years as I've really started to begin this job, and him as well as Jason Craig. I know Jason has moved on. He is now the principal over Hamilton County, but he's the first one that let me put on a headset on the radio about 5 or 6 years ago. And if it wasn't for Roger and Jason, I would not be behind the microphone. Also, Toby Brown. Toby has just been a great mentor as well. Toby, throughout the fall, provided us with stats every Saturday morning. He was up till who knows how late at night, making sure that we knew how many how many hundred of yards Isaac King had, how many touchdowns Drax Sod had every Saturday morning, and also throughout this historic basketball season.
Yeah,
he's
given the
he's
historical
given us some
stats,
tidbits on how many wins this team won, and Travis, we do what we can, but it's not without the help of other people that really help us do this night in, night out.
Yeah, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that have put in just as much work, if not more, than us, and we're the ones because we are out in front of the people talking, but give them a big shout out, all the people working behind the scenes, Haley, Asher, JC, Scott. And they're the ones that get us on the radio, make us sound so good. So just a big shout out to them. Also, you talked about Mr. Craig. Big shout out to Mr. Craig. He's the first person to let me put on a headset too 4 years ago. So I have to give him a shout out as well.
So I guess I know where you got some of your dad jokes from then.
Yeah. Yes.
But all in all, we do appreciate everyone who has tuned in throughout the season, whether it was football or basketball, YouTube or radio. And Travis mentioned Haley Winkleman, Asher Penrod, J.C. Tinsley, Scott Marion, Cadence Driscoll also who have helped us, whether it's running the camera, running the YouTube stream, or here at the radio station. It's been a lot of fun, and we greatly appreciate all the kind words and all the encouragement and support that we've gotten throughout the year. And there's no question, Travis, we've been to college, we've graduated college, we've done seen some sports in different towns, but there's just nothing like the maroon and white. Call me crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, I can't wait to get out of this town. But there's not many things better than cheering on the Bulldogs.
Yeah, just that atmosphere, that feeling of togetherness, that feeling of community. There's other places that have it, but there's just something about Carmi, and just you get that feeling about it everywhere you go. I mean, people always talk about the Bulldogs, so I mean, it's a great to be able to do this, and it's awesome.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show in the 2022-2023 season. We will pick the show back up probably the Saturday before the first football game. Don't have my calendar on me, but that will be sometime second or third weekend in August. But again, baseball and softball broadcasts begin second week of March. Our first baseball broadcast will be on March 13th when the Bulldogs take on West Frankfort. Then on March 15th, the Lady Bulldogs will take on Mount Carmel there to begin their softball season. So looking forward to it. Hope you can listen in throughout the baseball and softball season. And again, we'll pick up the sports show back up in August. One last time, I want to thank all of our Saturday Morning Sports Show sponsors. They are Rice Motor Company, Terry Street Automotive, Citizens National Bank, Nancy J. Winter CPA, First Mid Bank and Trust, Hale Body Shop, Roark Transport, Farrell Hospital, Little Giant Grocery Outlet, Jordan Funeral Group, Wabash Christian Therapy, Bush & Associates CPAs, Taylor Eye Care, People's National Bank, Hamilton Memorial Hospital, Rush Appliance, Wabash General Hospital, Boomtown Solar Energy, First Bank, and Carmine Lumber. So for Cole Carter and Travis Black, for Haley Winkleman across the hallway getting us on the air, have a great weekend, sports fans.